Dude, you might actually be good.
Seriously? Your ego is so big that your litmus test for whether or not a team is good is if they beat you?
I've lost to the Predators, Sabres, Blackhawks, and Islanders so far this season. That is not my litmus test.
Jesus, are you sure that you're good?
Okay, set myself up for that one. All I'm saying is that you guys are really bringing it, and you are really difficult to get anything going against.
Can I be honest for a second?
I thought you were always honest.
Why would you think that?
I just thought that was your only redeemable quality, is that, yeah, you might be a jerk, but you're blunt in your honesty, I guess?
You make too many assumptions. But honestly, I'm really proud of what this team has done so far. I mean, it's been ugly, and it certainly hasn't been perfect, but a lot of people have projected us to be on McKenna watch all year, and at least so far, we've refused to let those people celebrate.
Can I be honest?
Oh, dumb people are terrible liars anyway.
We are all hoping you fail.
Well, yeah. Hatred is how Boston fuels our sports teams. This city would have 0 championships if not for the absolute loathing from the rest of the country.
And you're proud of that?
Yeah, proud of the banners.
Low quality fans for high quality Bruins team. That is a dub. 5 dubs. That's 5 dubs in a row. 6 of 7 after a 6-game losing streak, and then they come out and win 6 of 7, and they're competitive in all of these games. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I don't get it, but I love. This is so fun. This team is genuinely fun. Does it make any sense at all? No, not really, but it is fun. We're going to talk a little bit about what does and doesn't make sense for this team, but I don't feel like I was in the minority of expecting a really frustrating year. And I guess, look, it's still early enough to say I don't know, and I don't know, but 9-7-0 is honestly a hell of a lot better than I thought we would get for the first 16 games of the season. If you asked me any question between the 4th loss in a row and the 6th loss in a row about this team, I would have been like, yeah, I kind of expected a lot of this. And then we go 2 weeks without any of that. And they look good. And not only that, but earlier in the season when we were winning a couple of games, or even earlier in this streak when we were winning a couple of games and getting largely outplayed, the last few games, I mean, sure, you're going to have games where the other team is expected to win based off of what they create and what you can't create. But we're actually competitive, like legitimately, analytically, eye test, all of it, competitive in these games. Color me surprised. I'm just saying. I'm shocked. I'm genuine. You know what? I'll just say it. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that this team is this competitive. I'm shocked that this team has picked up this system to the level that it has as quickly as it has. I'm shocked that the goal scoring is even middle of the pack. Like, I don't understand. I'm really impressed. I'm wildly impressed with Sturm. I'm wildly impressed with Fraser Minton. I'm wildly impressed with just the cohesive units we're getting in special teams, both the power play and the penalty kill, 5-on-5 play. The mental lapses are very few and far between, which means when we do harp on them, which we're going to, it's kind of one of those things where you go, but that has to happen sometimes. It's hockey. It's a very fast sport. You will never be perfect. You'll never play a perfect game, right? Or you very rarely will. And especially for a whole team to play a perfect game. There's going to be those weird mistakes. And now when we talk about them, we're either going to sound ridiculous because we're harping on something that's just not happening that often. Or, and hopefully this is the case, we keep winning games, so we're harping on stuff that's so small and insignificant that people roll their eyes at us, which I guess is still ridiculous. We obviously need to get a lot more than 2 games over 500 to reach that level, but I'm impressed. I'm just wildly impressed. 2 months from now, we might be like, wait, so we won 3 in a row, lost 6 in a row, won 6 of 7, lost 8 in a row, won 12 in a row, won 3 more, and we might be there. We also just might be a pretty decent hockey team. How much do you believe? This is one of my game notes, but I'm just going to say it now. How much do you believe? Like, comment, subscribe. Nailed it. But seriously, how much do you believe? How much do you believe that this team is kind of good? It's kind of hard not to get your hopes up a little. Do I think we're a cup contender? No, not really. But team's kind of competitive. And competitive in a lot of ways that they're replicating night in and night out. Getting kind of excited. What do you want from me? All right, let's talk about the Senators team a little bit, because I actually did a deeper dive than I usually do. So it's the second meeting of the year for these two teams. We were absolutely demolished by them a couple of weeks ago to the tune of 7-2. It wasn't a good game. Merrilainen, who was having a terrible year up to this point, which he only played 1 or 2 games beforehand, was pretty good in that game, and then obviously we just got shelled. They are 5-3-2 in their last 10 before this game, which I think they'll be mostly happy with, considering the heartbeat of the team, Brady Tkachuk, is still out and will be out for quite a while longer. Cue the comments from a Senators fan telling me that the real heartbeat of the team is a fourth liner that I've never heard of, because frankly, that's what a Bruins fan would do, so I am expecting it from a Senators fan. They currently have the 7th ranked power play, the 32nd ranked penalty kill, 6th in goals scored per game, and 31st in goals allowed per game. You may be thinking to yourself, wow, low qual, this team must be all offense, no defense. Well, you'd be wrong, buckaroo. You'd be a big, dumb idiot for thinking that. Because, well, I guess the literal numbers back you up, so maybe you wouldn't be an idiot. But at 5-on-5, they actually rank 4th in expected goals allowed per 60. 4th best. And 6th in high danger chances allowed per 60. It's really good. The defense, at even strength, has, from an analytics viewpoint, been stellar. The same goes for their penalty kill, by the way, where they rank 6th in expected goals against when down a man. No, the problem is they rank 30th in team save percentage at 5-on-5, just ahead of the Leafs and the Blues. I wanted to say the other two teams because it brings joy to me. They rank 31st in team save percentage on the penalty kill. Ullmark and Merrilainen have been, quite frankly, awful. Terrible. Behind a defense that's actually limiting chances. Now, we saw tonight, maybe they're limiting chances for the majority of the game, but once or twice a game, they give up a huge chance. Maybe it's one of those scenarios. I don't know. But I will tell you that Ullmark is getting the lion's share of the starts, and in 11 games played, he has an .861 save percentage. That was his numbers coming into tonight. And 3.4 goals allowed per game. Life ain't fair. Life ain't fair. Your defense is good, all of a sudden your goaltending is going to go to hell, which for the Senators is usually a thing, but last year Ullmark was pretty good for them. But life also ain't fair the other way for the Senators, because one of the best even strength and power play offenses in the league, the Senators, ranks 27th and 25th, respectively, in expected goals scored per 60. On one end of the ice, they are getting killed by their goaltending. On the other end, they are vastly outscoring their projected totals, having scored nearly 10 more goals than they've been expected to based on the chances they're creating. Sometimes it's just weird, man. This is why I talk like analytics are a great tool. They are not the game itself. And early in the season, trends start to meet in the middle more. Some teams are largely immune to it for, a 6-month run where something's just not going to make sense analytically and the product on the ice doesn't agree with it. And it's just going to happen that way all season or for the large majority of the season. My guess would be these start to meet in the middle at some point. That they're going to have a worse offense as time goes on, and their defense and goaltending is going to get better. Of course, we're also only, for them, 14 or 15 games in the season. I think the Bruins have a couple extra games played, but you could also expect that their structure is going to change and their systems will adapt, and maybe that will mean that they're pushing the pace a little more and their offensive creation continues to go up, and the analytics then mirror that and agree with it. I don't know. It's just a really interesting team right now because analytically they should be excellent defensively, terrible offensively. And instead it's the exact opposite and the goaltending is just killing them right now. These are the kind of numbers where if your goaltending was simply 900, this team would be blowing people out, just annihilating people. if their offense had stayed the same. I just find it interesting. Let's talk about the Bruins for a second. We have the usual lineup. Geeky, Zaka, Pasta, Middlestat, Zaka, Arvidsson. I don't know why I automatically said Geeky, Zaka, Pasta. Geeky, Kuzi, Pasta. Middlestat, Zaka, Arvidsson. Janot, Mitten, Kostelic, Beecher, Corelli, Asamont. Zadorov, Mack, Hampus, Peak, and Aspro, Yogi-Haru, Korpisalo gets the start. Lohrei is scratched for his 5th game in a row. We had a long conversation about this on the Short Shift podcast. The last 2 low quals have had these conversations as well. Do not worry. Where I'm not going to do it again right now. I gave my reasoning for it. Lohrei is scratched. I do think we're starting to hit that point where it's like, all right, let's get him back into a game. But inevitably now you put him back in and the team's going to lose. Like, it's just going to line up like that and people are going to be pissed. Elias and Harris, of course, are still out with their injuries. Let's talk about this game a little bit. The first period's really mostly easy to talk about. I'm going to spend basically all of it on a goal that was scored. Spoiler alert, puck drops. Puck drops! 5:42 into the game. And I've mentioned in a few games through the season that these basic transition plays that we just seem to break down on, it's just easily one of the more frustrating goals that we give up, where it's a simple 3v3 and then someone just loses their man or something like that. And this is very much like that. The Senators are moving up the near wall. The puck is moved to Giroux, who's against the wall on the blue line. So he is just standing on the blue line in the neutral zone. He received a puck from the other side of the neutral zone, and he's just in the very corner there. And Aspero comes over and makes contact. Now, some people think Aspero overcommitted here. And I can see that argument, and maybe in the system, technically, that's true. I'm not so sure about that, because I think that might have just been his man on the switch. But from Aspero's vision here, he is Geeky, who's just about a stride behind Amadio. And then he has Peak, and Peak is already in position to handle it. So he, in his head, is, I just have to slow down Giroux a little bit. This will prevent an easy access over our blue line. If no one engages him, he just gets to turn, and then they have a 3-on-2 with no time for Geeky to catch up. Him slowing the play down, in theory, allows Geeky to catch up. Geeky never really started skating. So what actually happens is the play does get slowed down, but Giroux is able to dish the puck off to Pinto, who's skating right by him on that same side, far enough away that Aspero can't make any contact with him. Pinto is then going to skate into the zone. He has Amadio on his right. Peak is playing the one defender in a 2v1, and because Geeky never actually got on his horse to get back into the play, has left Peak just to handle it. And the pass is perfect across the slot. Amadio is able to beat Korpisalo on the Senators' first shot of the game. Far blocker. I'm not going to get mad at Korpisalo here. Like, that's a breakaway, more or less. And it's 1-0. And I'm just I'm a little frustrated there because A, Geeky, that was lazy and it was bullshit. That's not what this team needs to be right now. And B, this was a very simple play to handle. This was a basic transition, and we turned it into a 2-on-1. I don't think that this is Aspero's fault. I think he played the system correctly here, which was, I need to slow this play down or else it's a 3-on-2. Full stop. That's the way I saw it, at least. I know some people will see it in a different light, but that's kind of where I'm at. 9 minutes left of the period. Geeky dekes through a defender for a 1v1 with Olmark. Top glove corner, post and out. He almost redeemed himself so hard. It was filthy, too. He just went right through the guy. It was really cool. Second period starts. That's all that happens in the first. And the first ends, shots are 9-2. The Bruins had only allowed 2 shots, and they're losing. It's been really good defense, and the neutral zone trap has been incredible. Second period starts. Beecher, who has been part of a lot of contact in this game up to this point and did go down the tunnel, I think, twice in the first period. He was not on the bench to start the second period and would not return to the game due to an upper body injury. So we're going to play shorthanded for the rest of this game. 1:22 in, the Sens open the period by pinning us in for a little over a minute. Their first shift is really good, but we go the other way with the puck. Geeky on the left wall is able to strip the puck from Stützle and turn his back to pin Tim to the wall, because I don't like saying his last name. It makes me feel weird. And still have the puck on his stick with plenty of vision, plenty of space. He tries to whip it across to Huznadinov, who's coming down the slot. Now, the pass is a little behind him, so it's going to go kick off of the back wall. Peak is going to walk into it in that right circle, hammer this on net. Olmark kind of probably wants this one back because it goes blocker side and it just squeaks through enough to hit the back post, and then Geeky's going to be there just to hammer that in off the rebound. And it's 1-1 earlier in the second. And with the way we're playing defense, I kind of sat there and went, all right, this is exactly what you want. Get that goal, back on even footing, and then just suffocate them. And they really did. I thought throughout most of it, both teams were fairly good defensively. And we're going to talk about these goals coming up. We're talking about defensive breakdowns. These teams are so consistent and difficult to get inside ice on. But the moments that there was inside ice, players capitalized. And that's the story, right? Like, we talk about opportunistic scoring all the time. The Bruins have to have it to be competitive. You would think the Senators would want it as well. That's just the way it goes. Any one little screw up and pucks in the back of your net sometimes. 3:03 in. Kostelic and McDermott go sort of for a fight. They shed the gloves. They topple each other, but they actually just both get roughing calls. 4v4 for a couple minutes there. Nothing happens there. 7:14 in. Clevin gets peak hard against the bench wall. Didn't think there was anything wrong with this hit. Brick was saying that it might have been a little high, but he was also saying, like, nah, that's just good hard hockey. It's a good check. Peak is shaken up, but he does go down the tunnel, but comes back. 6:47 left. Mott and Paulo for cross-checker. We'll go to the power play. Power play looks good, but no dice. 3:57 left. Shortly after the expired penalty, Jeannot skates down the glove side wall. 3 Senators commit. This is stuff that I harp on the Bruins for all the friggin' time. But it was the Senators who did it. So, haha, idiots. And Jeannot just goes, thanks. I not only have 3 bodies on me, but an easy lane to pass out of this. Passes it to Corrali, who's skating into that side of the ice's circle, the glove side circle. And he just gets a free bid on Olmark. And this is a sniper-union cheese! Short side, top glove, just like the kind of shot where you go, that's a goal scorer goal. But it's Corrali, so probably not a goal scorer, but kind of a goal scorer because he scored a goal. And of course, he does the Curra leap into the boards to bring back some fond memories. It's nice to see him get rewarded. He's had some really gutsy shifts. He does bring the energy. It's a good veteran to have. Again, I didn't love that signing. I would have rather seen a couple other players in this position, but he certainly hasn't been a liability. He's been fine. And this was a really, really fun moment, aided by terrible defense by the Senators. 3:19 left. Kostelic blows up Cousins late. Clearly late. It was a little late. It wasn't like egregiously late, but it was clearly late. And so he's going to get called for interference. We're going to do the penalty kill. We kill it. Third period starts, and I'm going to be honest. I thought the 2 goals was enough. I didn't think they were getting another one. With the way this team was playing defense, with the energy they were bringing, with the way they were winning board battles, no chance. And then they stopped playing. Maybe not stop playing. That's probably not fair, but they certainly didn't care as much to start the third. And they were getting outshot heavily, and they were getting outplayed heavily. And that's just one of those things where you go, okay, guys, you just thought you had it in the bag? This isn't a habit that this team can go along with. We're talking about needing to be as close to perfect on defense to make sure you're winning these games. Get a lead, allow your goaltending and your good structure to win the game. 9:09 in, Shabbat for interference as he moved into the path of Geeky. We've talked about pick plays several times, especially on the Short Shift podcast. You can't skate into the path of the defending player, though. You do have to just stand there, and the skater, your teammate with the puck, needs to use you as a pick, which, again, is something the Bruins have gotten far better at. And I think this was a frustration penalty because their plan was clearly to utilize these picks as often as possible, and the Bruins just weren't falling for them. They have gotten much better at looking out for these and knowing where they're coming from and avoiding having to switch off on these plays and create odd man situations. So we're going to go to power play. 1:19 left of the power play. Arvidsson is pretty blatantly tripped. There's no call. The Senators get to pick the puck up and start wasting time. This ends up resulting in some really poor defending by Zacha and McAvoy to allow Pinto what is basically a short distance breakaway on Korpisalo. Corby comes up big twice, but Zacha slashes him on the play, and we're going to go to 4v4 for 1:19 and then have a short penalty kill. As the penalty kill portion of that expires, so this is technically not a power play goal, but it is in a vulnerable moment where it's 5v4 for the other team, the other guy's coming back from the penalty box. It's 8:08 left in the game. The Senators are set up. Giroux simply rips this from the blocker's side circle. And as a screen, Korpisalo gets almost all of it. but there's just enough for it to squeak through and trickle over the goal line, and it's 2-2. And I was kind of annoyed. I kind of sat there and went, there's plenty to be aggravated at here. But Brick made a really good point. You did this to yourself. You came out for the third, low energy, poor details. You allowed them to dictate the pace of the game. You've allowed them to control the puck. You've allowed them to keep peppering Korpisalo. And yes, would you have preferred a 5-on-3 because Arvidsson was tripped? Sure. But it's very, very rare, that maybe not very rare, but it's uncommon for referees to be quick to call a second penalty to put you on a 5-on-3. I know, do your job, all that kind of stuff. But B, you were not engaged in this period. You were not doing your job properly. You were not fighting for every puck the way you had been in the previous periods. This is kind of you getting what you deserve here. Wake back up, lock back in, win this game. It's 2-2. And I really agreed with Brick. I'm paraphrasing the hell out of what he said, but I really agreed with him there. I went, you know what? You're right. You create your own good luck. You create your own bad luck too. That's one of those things where if you're not going to push the pace of the play and you're not going to engage in actually controlling how you want this game to go, this is what you're going to get every time. So it really took a lot of the bitterness out of it. Plus, I hate to be one to complain about the refs. The refs were once again terrible in this game. They were all over the place, both sides. Again, Janelle gets away with like 3 holding calls a game. It's really weird. I don't even know who got the better side of the refereeing in this one. I just know that they were terrible both ways. So we go to overtime, and you know me, I don't take a ton of overtime notes because it's really crazy, fast paced. I'd be staring at my keyboard or like trying to take notes while watching too much. But 41 seconds left of the overtime, where the Bees have carefully controlled this puck virtually the entire time. Greg is going to go for hooking, so we're going to go to the power play. Off the face-off, Geeky is going to go for tripping, so we're going to go back to 3v3. And there's about 38 seconds left. Frantic play. 5.6 seconds left, though. This shift by McAvoy. He takes the offensive zone on the left side. He's going to skate over to the glove side circle, the right side. He tries to feed Zacha across the crease for a backdoor tap-in. They can't connect. McAvoy skates around the back of the net up to that wall to collect the puck, and then skates back around to the glove side circle, realizes he lost his man during that skate, skates in at a sharp angle to Olmark, and Olmark sealing up to the best of his ability that near post. But he's got the one pad down, the one pad up. There's a little space between his legs. McAvoy goes for it, 5-hole. It works in the sense that it does get through his legs, but it stops just shy of the goal line. But Olmark doesn't realize it. And so Zacha has about 2 seconds to skate in and smack that in. It's 5 seconds left when the goal is counted. It's a 3-2 overtime dub. And it's massive. It's just massive. I seem calm. It's because I'm tired. That's really what it is. But this game was awesome once again. Tight games at the end. I love this shit. It gets your heart racing. It's intense. I do feel like the past couple of years, when the team was really good and then really bad, there wasn't a lot of like 30 seconds left, a lot of anticipation. Oh my God, what happens? It was kind of, games were determined by then. This has been really fun. We are going to run into another streak where the coin flips go the other way. We're going to run into a streak where these 1-goal games go 3 or 4 in a row or have lost all of them. That's going to be kind of by design. You're going to have more losing streaks this season. I'm obviously hopeful not long ones, but with the way this is played, with the way that our structure is built, you should probably expect to have, if you're going to have a bunch of 1-goal games, you're just going to have a bad luck stretch where you lose a bunch of them. Puck bounces, whatever. It's just a lot of fun, though. It's a lot of fun. The game notes, I already did the how much do you believe. I just want to hear in the comments, how much do you believe? Beecher's injury. If he's out for an extended amount of time, it's time for VL. I wouldn't bring anyone up for a 4th left wing spot other than like Patrick Brown. If they called him up, put somebody on IR to allow them to call him up, fine. That's the only time I'm okay with Patrick Brown being slotted in. But in no way, shape, or form should they call up a Liesel or a Patra or someone like that to work 4th line minutes. Merkulov also doesn't fit the MO for a 4th liner, but I could see them doing that if they really wanted to. Tufty has been on fire down in Providence, so he actually would make sense as well for that role. But don't bring up one of the lower weight scoring threats, offensively minded players for a fourth line role. Don't do that. That would be dumb, and I don't think they're going to do it. I do want to shout out 2 players real quick. First of all, Peak is an absolute warrior. He's awesome. Incredible, great, fantastic. Does he do everything perfectly? No. But the abuse he took in this game, whether it was blocking a puck, taking hits on the boards to make a play, walking into slappers where you get an assist on a goal, hell yeah. But the abuse he took during this game was frequent and heavy. And he just gutted through it. And he's a guy who quietly does that every night. I wouldn't say he's an incredible shutdown defenseman, but he's been solid. He really has been, and he deserves a lot of credit for this win in particular. The other player I want to shout out is Fraser Minton. His defense is fucking absurd. For a forward, if the Selke was actually the Selke, he would be a candidate. That's how good defensively he is. If it didn't matter how many points you scored or anything like that. If it was truly like, who's the best defensive forward, period. Minton's that good. His defense is so incredibly great. And he can get the puck up ice. He makes smart plays in the offensive zone. I just love this player. I adore him. I hope we hold on to him for a very long time. And I hope he continues to grow, because if 3 years from now, when he's 24, 25, and he's added an offensive touch to his game, I mean, imagine Fraser Minton's defense with a 60-point scoring forward as well. That is a shutdown 2C. Hell yeah. The potential's there. Does he ever get there? I don't know. But if this is his ceiling, what he is right now, which would also, I guess, be his floor, I'm very pleased, because that's a 3C I will watch for the next 15 years. I'm going to keep saying that. I know I've said it too much. Go Bees. Go Bees! Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video and joining me as we experience this crazy Bruins season together. The names popping up on your screen now are from the top line tier and the all-star tier of the YouTube membership program for this YouTube channel. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you who help support the channel so that we can do more fun things, and I am always open to more ideas of how I can help give back to those who support the channel. At the end of the day, this channel is always going to be about the community, and I want to continue to grow that way, so please always feel free to reach out with new ideas and fun ways we can expand on this, or if you just need someone to talk to, I'm always here for you guys. Thank you all for your support, and as always, go Bees!